It's Friday, and I'm back with the next in our Fanzine Friday series. Today we're taking a look at Olympus #1. Please stick around. I'm AZ Mountaineer, and this is our channel, Old School Rules, where we celebrate the community of old school gamers and grognards who like classic RPGs, miniatures, magazines, and everything that goes with it. Each week on the Fanzine Friday series, I take a fanzine from my collection off the shelf for a closer look. Today, from 1982, this is Olympus #1. Hope you enjoy the video. This week, I'm excited to be starting a new fanzine. This is called Olympus. It's the work of a number of folks, but the looks like the primary driving force is a guy named Stephen Breeser. This is our fanzine. It's a little more square than the normal, I guess I'd say the normal size that we see. Heavy stock cover, sort of an off-white, pages folded in half, and a couple of staples through the middle. These are really, really fun fanzines. They're a little shorter than ones we've been looking at lately, but they've got great content, new monsters, new magic items, and adventure. So, like I said, really excited to get into this new fanzine. I have 5 of these. I've heard they might have made 6. So we'll take a look at least at the 5 I have. We'll see if I can ever track down the one I'm missing. Let's start off here by taking a look at the cover. This is done by a guy named Bruce Smith. Great fantasy art. You got a battle here in the foreground, and then the sky looks a lot to me like Thor here on the horse, coming in with the sword to attack them. Okay, as I mentioned, fairly short table of contents. Editorial page, arcane items, new magic items, initiative, discussion of initiative in D&D. Welcome Aboard, which is some discussion of how to handle space sci-fi combat. Area Door, fantasy fiction. The Pirate Holdup, which is their special feature, a new adventure. And Menacing Monsters, a couple of new creatures that are featured in the adventure. In terms of contributors, Stephen Breeser is the driving force, the editor. Bruce Smith did the cover art, and then some articles are here by Royce, Kallerud, Scott Roy, and Sharon Laubach. He does mention a couple other people when he gives credit. He mentions Roger Kallerud, which probably Royce's sibling, I'm going to guess. Laury Lynn, art director, and an artist mentioned as well. Here's their intro page and their fleeting thoughts, and he says, a miracle of great divinity has just occurred. The first issue of Olympus has been published. We're proud to introduce this. You value top quality role-playing magazines, and goes on to talk about the things they hope to do. This is produced from Northbrook, Illinois. Okay. Here they have their table of contents and the beginning of their arcane items. Potion of Lycanthropy, and the way this functions, he says, is basically like a polymorph spell, and then you roll randomly to see what type of were-creature you turn into. You'll stay that way for 2 to 5 hours, although he says there's a 10%, seems kind of high, chance that you would be permanently afflicted with that lycanthropy. He also has the Bracelet of Ivory, an ivory bracelet with a pale orange glow, and he says it's taken from the Elysium fields of the underworld, and it causes the wearer to basically see hallucinations. And it's a cursed item, and you would describe those to them, the DM would, and hopefully in a way that makes the player feel like you can see stuff that other people can't. At some point, they're going to figure out these are essentially hallucinations and have to try and get it off with a remove curse spell. The third item is the Bracelet of Bone, which looks a lot like a Bracelet of Ivory, but it has positive powers you can use: true seeing, clairaudience, and clairvoyance that you could use. A total of 5 times a week, any one of those up to 3 times per week. Here's the article on initiative. Royce, Kallerud, and Scott Roy write this, and the way they do their system is with percentile dice. I think we talked last week about or maybe 2 weeks ago, about one that we used a D10. I like that one. This one seems a little confusing to me. But you roll a percentile dice, 0, 1 to 100. Highest number goes first. And you've got to look at a number of charts here to figure out a modifier on your roll. So first we take your dexterity plus your strength. The higher that is, the bigger the bonus. Then we look at your movement rate, and that can give you a bonus. And then we look at the status of your weapon, like, did you have a bow over your shoulder, or did you have a bow with an arrow already notched in it? That kind of thing gives you a bonus. And then you use weapon speed to give yourself a bonus. And so that's basically it. If you have multiple attacks, then they basically give you your first attack at the beginning of a round, your second attack at the end of the round. If you have more than that, they stick them in the middle. Spell casting here is complex. They roll a single 10-sided die, and that's the segment in which their spell casting begins. So again, 10 segments like we talked about with the other system. And a lot like the other system, that's when it begins, and then it takes whatever duration it does to cast it. If you get hit once you've started, but before you finished, it's going to ruin your spell. If something happens before you start, you're able to quit. All right, and then we've got this article, Welcome Aboard the Starship, and again, this is how to figure out interstellar, space combat. It's got some nice art here, and then he's got these diagrams to explain to you the vector of your ships and the angles and how you can figure out who can spin around and get a shot on somebody. Eriador is fantasy fiction. It's felt to me at least like an introductory chapter of a story. This guy follows this little enchanted pony through the woods, finds this elven stronghold, is welcomed in by one of the three kings. He introduces them to the other kings, and they basically say, we've got to unite the elven kingdoms, and this guy then sets off to go do that. Pretty short and sweet. The adventure is the Pirate Holdup. I thought it was pretty good, Stephen Breeser's work, and essentially there's so the one criticism, it doesn't say in here what level, like, how many characters and what level this should be. It says that at the beginning there have been these pirates. This paladin had gone off to try and root them out. Everybody else who's gone off has never come back. He comes back. He's lost his magic sword. He gives you a map, tells you to go find the magic sword for him. He'll give you 500 gold pieces. He doesn't come with you. For a paladin, seems like probably not the right move, but anyway, that's the deal. And so your party, uneventfully, probably should have taken advantage of this, but there's basically no event. You just take a boat, a smaller boat, you go and you find the entrance to the pirate's lair, and that's how the adventure starts. Again, some cool little art here of these pirates in the boat. That comes back in a minute in the adventure itself. And then he's got a diagram of their big ship, which you will find, as well as he's got the map of the pirate's lair. One of the things I like about this is when you come in, the map's a little hard to follow, but you come in up here at the northwest in this big cavern, right where the water comes in, and they've pulled the boat in there, and that's kind of their lair. And there's 4 or 5 rooms around there. There's the battle that will take place when the pirates inevitably see you coming in and attack you. You fight your way through them. You can go search around, get some rewards. And then there's either a secret door, or you can take your little boat and go through a tunnel and then come out into a further underground river system. And then there are, completely separate from the pirates, like a secondary adventure back here with some different monsters, all of which make lots of sense. It's pretty short and sweet. This is a one-evening adventure, if that, but it's a good one. You probably got to be either a small party, 2nd to 5th level is what I'm going to guess, or a slightly bigger party. Maybe you could be 1st to 3rd level and come out of this okay. And then used in that adventure are these new monsters. The first one is the Plunder Puddle. And the Plunder Puddle, they have got this backstory of this halfling who was carrying water, and they cast a spell, but it was a water weird, and somehow it went into his body, consumed him, everything but his little halfling feet. And so now this puddle with little halfling feet walks around, tries to run in front of people, cause you to slip, and then the water creature sort of jumps up on your face, suffocates you, kills you, and then goes into your body, dissolves you, everything but your feet, and then you become a Plunder Puddle. It's a little odd. And then the other thing they have here is the Cold Cobra, which reminded me of the I think there's a monster like that in the Fiend Folio, if I'm not mistaken. This is by Royce Kallerud. It's exactly what you think. It's a giant snake that inhabits a very cold region, can burrow through snow. Its bite is poisonous, and it also once a day can spit at you, which will you save versus breath weapon. And if you, this is actually pretty cool. If you fail, it's like a frostbite effect, and if they don't get you to a warm location above 60 degrees soon, then you suffer frostbite. You roll D100. You lose fingers, toes, hands, arms, foot, legs, or you die from frostbite. So that I thought was pretty good. Pretty good attack for that. Then we finally had this article on Thieves Guild. The good guys don't always win, and it's just an explanation of how Thieves Guilds could be used. You know, the common idea about how the thieves would join. They'd have to give some of their money to them, the benefits they would get, and a few ideas of how you could use Thieves Guild in your campaign. My only complaint about this was it actually made me think there's probably a really good article to be written or found out there somewhere talking about really good ideas of how to use Thieves Guilds in your campaign, especially with characters in your party that might be thieves. And of course, the other thing about how to use your thieves in your party interacting with Thieves Guild is how you do that effectively when you're part of a party that's not thieves, right? Because you don't want to have everybody else just sit there where you go off and spend half an hour, 45 minutes playing one character's solo, adventure in the Thieves Guild. So I'd appreciate some good DM ideas about how to think through that idea. And then, like many of these good fanzines here at the end, they ask you to give them feedback on a scale of 1 to 100. I don't know why it has to be that high. And just tell them what articles you liked and which ones you didn't. Other things you want to see. What article did you enjoy most and why? How do you compare this to other gaming magazines? Is it worth the price? And then here's an advertisement on the back for Task Force Games. As I said, this one a lot shorter in some respects in terms of content than some of the fanzines we've been looking at lately, but really, really good. I love the feel of these. And as I said, we'll be looking at these a little bit over a month now, probably 5 weeks, right, to get to the end. I hope you guys are enjoying the series. I hope you're subscribed, and I hope you have a great weekend. Until next time, my friends, keep rolling 20s.